Emma had always believed that her calling was to bring comfort to families in their darkest hours. As a self-employed home nurse, she had witnessed countless final breaths, held trembling hands, and guided families through their most vulnerable moments. But nothing could have prepared her for the year that would shatter everything she thought she knew about love, loyalty, and respect. It started with death knocking twice at her door. First, her elderly cancer patient, Mrs. Rodriguez, slipped away peacefully on a Tuesday morning, her family surrounding her bed with tearful gratitude for Emma's compassionate care. The second death came like a lightning strike. Margaret, a vibrant woman in her 60s, collapsed without warning. Emma's trained hands immediately began CPR, her voice steady as she called for help. But the paramedics arrived too late. Margaret's lifeless eyes would haunt Emma's dreams for months. That evening, Emma dragged herself through her front door, her scrubs still wrinkled from kneeling beside Margaret's still form. Her hands shook as she tried to process the trauma of watching another life slip away despite her desperate efforts. She needed her husband David's arms around her, needed him to hold her while she grieved for a woman whose grandchildren would never hear her laugh again. Instead, David barely looked up from his phone. "Oh, by the way," he said casually, scrolling through messages, "Jake didn't text me back about the party tonight." When Emma asked why that mattered, David explained he wanted to go celebrate with friends. Emma's hollow stare must have spoken volumes because David reluctantly stayed home, but not before sighing dramatically and making it clear he was sacrificing his fun for her difficult day. No hug. No, "Are you okay?" No acknowledgement that his wife had just failed to save a human life. Just disappointment that her trauma was inconveniencing his social plans. Months later, David's mother, Helen, needed post-surgical care for varicose vein treatment. Despite their toxic history, Helen's constant criticism of Emma's parenting, cleaning, and even how she fed her own children, Emma agreed to help. It was a decision that would push their marriage past the breaking point. The complications began immediately. Fluid poured from Helen's surgical site in alarming quantities, soaking through bandages faster than Emma could change them. "This isn't normal," Emma said, her professional instincts screaming danger. "We need to call the doctor." Helen's response was a dagger to Emma's already wounded heart. "What kind of nurse are you that you've never seen this?" Her voice dripped with disdain as she declared the wound would never heal, and that calling the doctor was unnecessary since he was unavailable. When Emma tried to help with Helen's compression stockings, a crucial part of recovery, Helen slapped her hands away dismissively. "I'll do it myself," she snapped. Emma's frustration finally boiled over. "You're not going to be the difficult patient, are you?" she muttered. The explosion that followed was nuclear. Helen's rage filled the room as she berated Emma's competence, her character, everything about who she was as a person and professional. Years of suppressed resentment came pouring out. Criticism about Emma's mothering, housekeeping, even how she brushed her children's hair. When Emma turned to David for support, expecting him to defend the woman who had just spent sleepless nights caring for his mother, she found only betrayal. "I don't know who to believe," David said, his words cutting deeper than any surgical blade. "You or my mother." The woman who saved lives for a living suddenly couldn't save her own marriage. Emma realized that while she had been pouring her heart into caring for others, the people who were supposed to care for her had been slowly draining her soul. Now she faces an impossible choice: stay with a man who questions her truth, or walk away from 7 years of marriage to protect what's left of her shattered heart. What would you do? Should she fight for a marriage where her trauma is dismissed and her expertise questioned? Or is it time to choose herself? Share your thoughts. We want to hear how this story makes you feel.